The following podcast is rated MALVS for language, violence, sexual situations, postnasal drip, diverticulitis, gout, old dude naked in a locker room, hailing a cab in New Jersey, night sweats, the word moist, senior nudity, used car dealers, greasy hair, may cause nausea, vertigo, and simultaneous diarrhea and vomiting. If your symptoms persist, please call emergency. What are you doing? Oh, hey, yeah. I was just trying to spice this up a little bit. Just stick to the script. Well, it's the same old thing. Why not make it more interesting? You're trying to keep things interesting. You're not being paid to be interesting. Oh, enough of your twaddle. What's twaddle? Be off with you. What? Get out! Well, that's what I get for trying to be original, asshole. I heard that. Ugh. Ladies and gentlemen, please sit back, relax, and enjoy the rest of the show.
This is The VO Life. Positive conversations about living the voiceover life. Insight into the business and day-to-day grind of being a regular Joe VO. From the humble beginnings to the finally hitting a new level to getting that first big client. It's all about that VO life. Here's your host, Troy Holden.
Hey, and welcome to the Voice Over Life, better known as the VO Life. And, if you understood what was just going on there, that guy was really having a hard time with somebody. And, it's kind of like our VO Life. There's always somebody telling you what to do and how to say it and all that. And, let's make it fair. Let's just bring that guy on right now and talk to him about it. And I don't know if you guys know who this guy is. Maybe you can guess, but just listen to him as he comes in and introduces himself and tells us where he's at, for starters. Where are you, mystery guest?
Hello, Tater. Well, I'm in my cubby. So soft and warm and ready for the questions.
Oh, if you guys don't know, that's our good friend Rudy. Rudy, what is going on?
Oh, just, the VO life.
Isn't it the truth?
The mountainous trek into the success of success.
Isn't it amazing how everybody, it seems, is on a different trek?
Well, you're getting into like the zen of it because, everyone is living their own life.
Right.
Right. like for you and I, we're older, we're getting older and we're doing this for other reasons. People like, I want to drop a name like Trevor or Mike, they're younger guys. They've got, household, babies, college to think about, or there's, the person who wants to do it as a second career, or in my case, it's basically a bucket list, check mark off my bucket list, getting into entertainment, having a toehold into something creative, which is something which I wanted to do for a long time. And right, I gather it's the same for you.
Yeah, exactly the same. And I've dipped my toe in other things. I've always, when I was in my 20s, early 30s, I played live music, sang with a country band. I've always been doing something. And then I got out of that and got into the horse thing and showed horses for years. And that's not entertainment. That's a wallet sucker is what that is. But after that, I got back into another realm of music. I did Southern gospel music for 10, 11 years. But I always, way back as a 5, 6-year-old kid, I wanted to be in radio. I wanted to be the guy calling play-by-play for the Atlanta Braves, or be a news guy or a weather guy.
Yeah,
that's what I really, really wanted.
We all have different, lines. Like with me, this was more of a. I like to say that this came about through osmosis, through reduction. For the first part of my adult life, I was a martial arts instructor. So speaking to people, lectures, seminars, teaching, wrangling big groups. Being heard, being followed. I mean, all those things went ultimately into what I'm doing now. Flash forward 30 years later, getting older and don't want to sit there and spar 25-year-olds anymore. And And so that led to, my search is, well, what do I want to do? What is it that would bring me joy? And we're kind of semi-retired now, so it's not like we're in that space where we have to have the ultimate career now, now, now. It can be a slower road. And I mean, flash forward to my mid 40s now, after 30 years of that, and I started doing things like video game commentary, because along with all the other stuff, I was a big techie nerd as well. So all things technical. So it was nothing for me to pick up all the technical of the voiceover world. Like,
Right.
just a bunch of research, really. I come from a world where I still have the dual floppies as my first computer. So I did, the video gaming commentary, and I did that for a little while, and I realized, well, this is not really me, because I'm getting older and my audience are like, 13-year-olds. So it didn't really gel, but that's where I started getting into, more into voiceover and audio. I did video for a long time too. So that did help a lot.
Oh, yeah.
I can put together video like nothing.
That's, what a great background to have for this, because you have to do everything.
Everything, yes.
Yeah, you really do. A lot of people don't realize it.
Then from there, I mean, if we're going to just cut to the history part, then I started just searching, seeing what's around. And I got into places like Hit Record and castingcall.club. Now with Hit Record, that's kind of a time suck. They're just there for themselves. You meet people and the networking is great, but that was something. But I did a lot of audio drama through them. I did a lot of voiceover audio drama, and that's really where I cut my teeth. You hear me on Fiverr, and I'm Mr. BMW, but what you don't see is all the character work I've been doing for like a couple of years before that. And my first real paid voiceover job, which was really what hooked me on the bug, on the VO bug, was through castingcall.club, where I've done indie games, audiobooks, audio dramas really for characters and things like that. And it's a great resource for those who are just starting. If you're just starting out there and you're listening to this, that's a good resource to start. You can see what everyone else is doing, as opposed to like on voices.com, where it's a blank. The other people are in their own realm. And at least you can get to know what your sound is compared to somebody else, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. From there, somebody had the brilliant idea of turning me off to Fiverr. And then I spent a year on voices.com doing audition after audition after audition before I was ready. They took my money anyway. They will take your money anyway. So buyer beware there. If you're not really ready, if you're not booking elsewhere, don't bother with VDC. But then, even as bad as I was, as far as audio, I was actually pretty good in the performance side. It was just the audio technical stuff. Like, how do I make this voice sound good in this space? And that's what really killed me. But I still got 2 jobs out of it. Almost paid for itself. And then came Fiverr again. And I wrote back. I said, hey, this was a stupid idea for me to go. It was under bad advice, really, because I'm beginning to see people are actually progressing in Fiverr. And from there, I started up. So here comes, December 2019. Great. Everything's going great. January, COVID strikes and everything just goes down the slide. And it was a slow going. So those of you who are a new member and you're only spending a couple of months there, I spent 9 there or more, if you consider it, because everything just dried up, and only the top of the top was actually making any kind of money. But then, it came, the 10 orders, the $400, level 1. Suddenly it was a whole different ball game. And little by little, that budget, because we're very budgeted here, even though we're semi-retired, the VO money pays for the VO equipment. So starting with Casting Call, it bought me my first mic. It bought me an interface. It bought me some hobo forting. And then came the levels of Fiverr. That got me a new computer, got me a nice Synco, which you're listening to right now. um, and monitor spacing. It does pay for itself, but it takes time. This is not a get rich quick scheme. And even if you have the money to get the space, to get the microphone, get all these things, who are you? What are you saying? What is your message? What is your performance? That really is the end. When all, as Bill DeWeese would say, once all things are equal, who are you?
Mm-hmm. Right.
You know,
That's a very, very good point. Very good. What good is all of that? If you're if you don't know how to use it, and then B, if you're not, you don't have the business. And I've done exactly the same thing. I started out with an SM57 and a USB mixer, and it sounded like crap. But I practiced and I practiced. Yeah, absolutely. It was.
I was there.
And I could hear all this noise in the background. I was cleaning out some file folders the other day, and oh, look, there's one of those first VOs I did, and you play it, and you're like, holy crap,
my
that
God.
sucks. They paid for that, but they knew they were getting what they paid for. They knew, it was $5. So and of course, now I do them a whole lot better for $10. So
well, one of my first VDC jobs was for Lawton Partners, a law firm in Michigan, and I did it, got about $100 for it. And I listen back to it now, I'm like, whoa, they paid for that. And then sometime later, once I actually got better oh, that's one thing. At Hit Record, I had to fix everyone's sound. Oh my God. It was so bad. I became expert at RX-7. It's, I was turning wind tunnels into, whisper rooms with RX-7. It's incredible. And then I did it to that Lawton Partners. I posted it on YouTube, messaged them and say, hey, here it is free of charge. And then 500 views later, it was like, oh, okay, you got as much as you wanted out of that one. Thank you.
Yeah.
But that's good. That's that's the way it progresses.
So when you were talking about, and reinvesting with your voiceover money, and I've done the same thing, and I really encourage people to do that. Keep your job if you can, keep your job, and not only get some, I won't say top-notch equipment, get some decent equipment, get a decent.
A Synco is $250.
Yeah, and they're great.
TZ Electronics is $199, and and if you buy a TLM, great, you can sell that.
Right.
You can sell it if you have to. But yeah, you don't necessarily, I'm going through the Synco. I'm thinking, why do I need a 416 again? Why do I need to spend $1,000? I do hear it in your booth, and I do remember what you sounded like before the TLM and what you sound like now. And when you think about it, when you really study the thing, it is geared already in the frequency responses to be much more palatable for voiceover.
Right.
So but
I would not own this had it not been one of those desperation moves by somebody wanting to sell it cheap, and he was 20 minutes from my house.
Oh yeah,
that's the only reason I got it. And of course, we're close to Nashville, so there's equipment everywhere. And every now and then you'll find something like this, and the guy says it's in the box. It's been used probably 3 times, and I'll take $450 for it.
Oh, here's a cheapskate tip of the day: always go to a pawn shop that's near a guitar center, because unfortunately there are a lot of people who aspire, and life sucks, and you have to do other things, right. And you'll get deals there. I got plenty of good deals out of for equipment and stuff like that in the past. Just going to a pawn shop near a guitar center.
Right. So you were talking about getting that creative thing going and all. What other things did you do years ago to try to satisfy that early on? Were you doing any other kind of work or anything?
That we us older folks are always at the mercy of our younger selves, and that we, the decisions we make and the things we want to do. I mean, if I could go back and say, hey, do voiceover earlier, That's something obviously you can do. You can do that now. But I was, into martial arts or into performance. I've won international tournaments. Um, so I did that. I did that for a while. On the flip side, all of my friends, including my own teacher, were musicians. I was the only one in the group that didn't play an instrument.
Mm-hmm.
They had the
Right.
bands, I did lyrics, I did some background vocals, blah, blah, blah. And that was a creative outlet. But that's already decades ago. What really comes in from that side of my history is just all the public speaking experience. Because if you don't have, because the microphone feels like a crowd. And if you're not able to keep it together in front of a microphone or in front of a crowd, you won't be able to get in front of a microphone effectively. So that's, and also being able to convey to a group exactly what you want. So I really appreciate that experience, because it also, when you're in a school, running a gym, you are the psychologist, salesman, janitor, electrician. You're everything in that place. So, it's not just one thing. So that helped me with sales. That helped me with customer service. That helped me with how to answer a phone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Sometimes
Sure.
I'll actually call places. What? Hello? Hello? Like, is this how you answer a phone? Oh my God.
Uh-huh. Right.
Can I speak to your manager?
Yeah.
I am a manager.
It is amazing, all of our work experiences and things we've done in all these other aspects of life, how it fits into voiceover. It's crazy, because I did tons of training of groups of people, teaching people how to change the battery on forklifts, or how to operate the forklifts, or safety classes, or lots of stuff, and going out and seeing I would have to go to customers on occasion, and there'd be a quality issue, and we'd have to go sell the fact that this usually doesn't happen, and you're always talking to people, and you're selling something whether you're actually selling or not. So,
and you're directing them. You're direct, so that they don't shock themselves with the battery, or
Right.
kill themselves
Right.
with the forklift. Don't want to
Right.
be skewered by the tines. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
don't
Yep.
leave it on.
And even going back to, I worked in the Nissan plant in the early mid 90s, and when I went into supervision, you'd have 25 people in your work group. Well, every night before the shift started, you had to get on your microphone, and you had to do a shift start meeting. So you're up there talking to them, you're trying to be friendly, and you're trying to, you're doing all this stuff. And I did that for 4 or 5 years every night.
That's invaluable.
It is. And
That's
these are
invaluable work.
the things that work for us. So when we go, like now, when I go to a coach, or I go to a workshop, I don't feel like I'm one of those that gets singled out, and oh, you really need to learn to find the hot spots in the script, and you really need. It's like, for some reason, we kind of get it, because we've been doing this just in a different way.
Yeah, I mean, I think of it also as I've been in LA for a number of years. I've been all over the country. My better half was a doctor, so we went all up north and Southern California, and one thing there is that you oh damn, I lost my train of thought. Oh my God, we're getting old. Yeah, the life experience is invaluable. And in LA, oh, there we go. In LA, I went through help with, through acting people, acting coaches, whatnot. And I'm thinking, they're asking me to find a feeling and then put it out into the ether in front of me. And I'm thinking to myself, is this guy really trying to teach me how to be angry or sad or happy or lonely or any of these things that I've already lived through? I don't need someone to tell me that. You, the listener out there, can tap into those life experiences, tap into how the certain things, certain emotions feel, how that feeling, especially when you're doing character work. Oh my God. You really do have to sort of, it's weird because you're in a booth, you have nobody to mirror off of, and you have to sort of imagine the situation in front of you or internally as you're doing it. So if you want to do something angry and just frustrated or happy, that I'm so happy that you're here. I've been waiting for you for years. Those emotions come out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, how could you cheat on me?
Mm-hmm. And it's really, like you said, it's you plug it into one of those life experiences. It's real easy to do.
That's why sometimes, if you're 25, yeah, okay, you're going to need a little help with coaching because maybe you haven't run the gamut of all those emotions yet.
Mm-hmm.
That you need to draw upon.
Right.
So
now you were mentioning being out on the West Coast. You're now in Florida, correct?
I'm in Naples, Florida. Yeah.
Naples. Oh wow, beautiful
Naples,
down
Florida.
there.
Great.
Yeah.
We were in Lakeland for quite some time, so I did pick up the Polk County accent.
Yeah, you got a little of that going on there.
I was in there for about 7 years, and and they're good people. They're really good people. I taught a Tai Chi class there for a long time, and those ladies are still there. I put up one of my senior students, and see, I mean, it's there, man. It's there. I put up one of my senior students, and they are still teaching the Tai Chi there. So I'm happy with them. If any one of them is listening, stop laughing now. Stop laughing. Stop.
You absolutely nail that because you left the G off of every ing word. That's perfect. That's perfect.
Yeah, and I learned to say insurance instead of insurance.
Yeah. Let me tell you. I'll kind of tell you a funny one. Oh, are you originally? Okay.
Originally from Florida. I mean, we ran the circle here basically.
Gotcha. Now,
spent some time near San Rafael, in San Francisco, and they're pretty nice people, but they're kind of depressed, And LA people, LA, they're just so relaxed,
Mm-hmm.
Everything about them is, dude, I'll get to your party when I get to your party, okay?
I can imagine.
I'll take the 110 to the 5 to the 405 to the 55 and then turn around again on the 22. Is that okay? You pick these things up as you go along.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, I've only lived in Tennessee, Georgia, and Texas, so I have no chance with some of that. But that's okay.
Well, you in Georgia? You've been in Georgia, so you have that. You can pick up that Georgia peach accent.
You can get that Jimmy Carter going. Jimmy Carter,
or the Alabama accent. That was very heavy in Florida.
We met Jimmy Carter when I was a child. He was campaigning for governor of Georgia, and I'll never forget. We came out of this store called Treasure Island. It was like a huge, like a Target or something is now, I guess.
Gave you a tin of peanuts.
So exactly. So we come out, and my dad has 2 new trash cans, and Jimmy Carter says, you won't need those trash cans when I'm governor, because I'm going to eliminate all this some sort of trash pickup and rubbish. And we got out to the car, and my dad said, he's full of crap. I'll never vote for him. He said he'll never be governor. And of course, he was president, but my dad couldn't stand him, bless his heart. But and I'm currently working on a book, and it's an audio book, and I'm not doing it. This is what I'm listening to, called How to Tame Your Wild Southern Accent.
Why?
And
why would you?
Well,
It's two
pieces. It is a gold mine, but there are 2 things that I'm trying to accomplish with that. And one is in the corporate world. As long as I get my as and e's and ahs and uhs, just about 4 things that I want to fix. I don't want to completely change how I sound, but I want to make sure that I'm I'm saying everything and not everything, and
Yeah.
I'm leaving off some stuff. And I just want to be sure it helps me pronounce clearer. It doesn't have to take anything away. I want to pronounce clearer and see if maybe that'll help me with some of this corporate stuff that
it's how you
trying to
massage
get.
it, really. Like
Right.
with me, I mean, I'm Cuban American, but I've been in the English world so long that now when people ask me, "Can you do Latino?" I'm like, what is Latino? Is that in perfect English? Do you want me to speak in perfect English? I can't do that. And people who are Latino who speak perfect English, what are they going to do? I mean, go back to, "Hey man, what's going on?" It sounds like a bad, parody after a
Right.
while.
Right. A Cheech and Chong parody.
So
That's what it.
after a while, I click off, next. No,
Mm.
thank you. No, I just won't do it
Right.
anymore. I don't have the brain for it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I get that. I get that. I've heard other people that say that they are bilingual VOs, and one guy that I know that's out. I think he's in Nevada. He's out that way somewhere, and I
I'll
won't
do
call his
Spanish, but I
name.
won't
I
do
don't want to
it.
embarrass him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now he
Yo hablo
sends me
español.
stuff sometimes of the high powered radio type stuff he does.
God, I can't.
And then he said, but you're mixing the Spanish and English. And it just blows my mind how fast the changes are and how it works.
Yeah,
It's
you
crazy.
can. You can.
He'll be reeling off of the Spanish, and then all of a sudden it'll be like Coors Light. I'm like, what? Where'd that come from? I didn't understand a thing you said till you said Coors Light, but it's pretty
Es una
neat.
cerveza refrescante. Coors Light.
Yeah, exactly.
Coors Light.
It's crazy how that can happen. And I 25 years ago, I spoke semi-conversational Japanese, and I probably could have had fun with that. But
Oh my
I don't,
God.
not anymore. The subjects and predicates and the backwardness of how they do things, that was very, very hard to learn.
Oh my
But
God.
in these companies here, where they are highly Japanese, and they're not as bad now, but 25 years ago they were, you'd go into a meeting, they'd have an interpreter, and you would say something, and it lasted 45 seconds, and the interpreter would say 8 words, and you'd say, "Did you tell him what I said?" And they'd say, "I couldn't tell him that. That would be offensive." So I was like, I'm going to learn to speak this crap because I need to say what I need to say.
Culture shock.
It is. It is.
Well, culture shock is another thing. Like when I did move to the West Coast, I was an East Coast boy, and there were so many things that were not done in California. Like I had a friend of mine who went to a store with me, and he just threw money on the counter and just, "Hey, give me this." And I say, "Hey, man, you're in San Mateo now. You're in California. Ease off." I had to apologize to the cashier. "I'm sorry. He's from Miami. He doesn't really understand how things are here." And he was kind of shocked, like, "What do you mean?" Because in Miami, he just, "Here's my money."
Right.
It's
Right.
very gruff. It's,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
nice to a point, but then it's like, yeah. All right, have a nice day. Right. Whatever.
Mm-hmm. And it's different everywhere.
It's different
I used to
everywhere,
travel.
yeah.
I used to travel up
Now-
to Canada a lot, and
Yeah.
oh my gosh,
How does
Totally
that travel to
different up there.
VO then? Well, how does that relate to VO? It relates in that you sort of have to know how to inflect correctly for different regions and say things in a particular way.
mm-hmm.
Like
Very
I noticed
good, yeah.
Canadians love me. People from the
Mhm.
Netherlands love me.
Mm-hmm.
I do a lot of America work, but those two places, they jibe with the way I say things.
Right. That's what I love about the guys over in Pakistan and some of those other places. Sometimes they're rough to deal with, but they love the announcer voice.
Oh,
They
yeah.
love radio voices over there. You can do your best car pitch in a e-learning, and they love it. It's crazy. I tell you what, I had
And now,
this
screw
week.
in the light bulb and turn it
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, exactly. I had my toughest VO challenge this week. I received it was a slideshow from, it was actually an MP4 from Sage Software, which I know who they are. That's pretty decent size. This is a good job. They said, please read it with the accompanying voice for timing and whatever. It was an AI woman's voice, and it was awful. and it was so chopped up. So I'm trying to play it just for timing, and next thing I know, I'm going, and now put your software in the computer. Like, wait a minute. So I finally just said, surely to goodness I can get the pace in the first 5 seconds, and away I'll go. And I did it, and it was close enough that they accepted it. But I thought if I'd have read the whole minute and 20 seconds with that thing, I would have lost my mind.
Oh my God, I can imagine. The only
It's
way I
terrible.
can think of that I would do it is that I would listen to the AI and then set up markers in my DAW.
That's the trick right there.
I would
just
set up
to know where
markers.
the
It goes,
brakes
begins
are.
here, ends here. Say this phrase in this time, and I would have to ignore it because I've made this comment earlier this month about how I hate it when they send me, some recording and they get on their phone. And now we're going to go to the store and buy a light bulb and screw it. And you're like pulling out your teeth. Your eyes are just bulging out going, why? Why are you doing this to me? And
it's
because if I gave it to them that way, they would reject it.
sure they would. Of course they would.
Or it sounds like a New Jersey, turnpike announcement. We will soon be boarding to flight 324 to Las Vegas.
Right. That's
It
exactly right. It's
just
terrible.
kills you. So forgive
Yeah.
them, for they know not what they do.
Exactly. So, do you find yourself, especially local television stations, hearing some really bad audio and really bad VO work actually getting on the air?
Well, the thing is that a lot of these places hire the same people to do the jobs over and over again, and sometimes they hire from within to do the job. So it's the same guy over and over again, and he may be good, he may be okay, but after a while, it's just sheer repetition of it, and it's always, well, for instance, they are really good at making Toyota ads for Toyota dealers or something. But, then selling a laxative doesn't quite sound the same.
Right. Right. My
Take
stomach
this.
hurts.
Take this. You will poop endlessly. Today only.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yep, that's just funny. So, coming up, looking down the road a little bit, what type of work do you really like to chase and do? What's your favorite genre of stuff you're doing?
Well, actually, I'm torn there because I do like the commercial work. I do like doing characters as well. So right now on Fiverr, I'm only doing the one main gig. I know I've been told over and over, get more gigs. And well, yeah, sure, I'll get there. But I'd really wanted to make a good foundation for myself first. And eventually getting into more character work. My favorite has always been the audio drama and the character work. I hate doing audiobooks though, because in the genre right now, they want the one person to be all the voices, and it just sounds ridiculous. I heard the audiobook for Crazy Rich Asians, and it was the same guy doing 5 different female voices, trying to be different with the male voices, or be higher, be lower, and it's hire more people. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you hear
And I
some of
would
the-
forget. I couldn't keep track of it if I were doing it.
Exactly. I mean, when we did a lot of the audio drama for Casting Call or for Hit Record, we put out, it's like, hey, we need this part, we need this guy, can you do this here? And we put it together, and it sounded like like an audio track of a movie,
Mm-hmm. Right, as it should.
as
Yep.
it should. But people, in the ACX world, they wanted the one author. They wanted to just sound like someone is reading a book to you.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I'm
Right.
thinking, wow, what a missed opportunity.
Yeah, it is. I would love, of course, it probably won't ever go back to a lot of that. And I hear the stories from
What, radio
a guy
show?
that lives close to me. Well, that would be great too.
Oh, yeah.
But he's talking about where you would have 3 VOs go into the studio and you do those scripts with 3 people. And when he has workouts, he always brings one of those. And I love doing those because you got to be quick. It can't sound like some person goes, well, what would you take for a headache? And then the other person's like, I would take a BC powder. So it really frustrates him when the people in there aren't just popping, one right after the other.
Well, now we're
But
talking about
those
acting.
are so fun.
Now
Yeah,
we're talking
exactly.
about acting.
Exactly.
and being able to fill in the blanks believably and suspend
Yep.
disbelief.
Yep. But those are so fun. I can't imagine, 25, 30 years ago, let's say you were a very hardworking and engaged VO and getting to do some of the things that they got to do. You hear the stories about them being picked up at the airport and flown over to a Sandals resort because we want you to record the Sandals commercial where it's actually happening so you'll get the feel for it.
Yeah,
Really?
now we're talking about
Sure.
where there was still the age of the three networks, and most of the work was in L.A., Chicago, and New York. The world has changed. It's been said before. Technology has changed everything. Now we have home studios. We can record right where we are. I mean, if it's something like in a video game, sure, they'll want you in L.A.
Mm-hmm.
They want everyone to
Mm-hmm.
record off the same microphone. They want you in the
Mm-hmm.
same room.
Right.
And I can understand that.
Right.
But little by little, I mean, even with like for instance, you have a TLM, you're in a prepared space. You could put out a voiceover over a character, and it could appear somewhere because it's already industry standard.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So it's
And
a
then,
give
of
and take
course,
thing.
with Source Connect, they
Mhm.
record on their end. What does it matter?
It doesn't matter anymore. So all
Right.
these things are changing, and sometimes the status quo at large has trouble with that change. They want to keep it like it was. They want to keep the mystique of it all. But it's like, hey, man, this is acting. And if you know anything about acting, just because you've been doing it for 30, 40 years doesn't guarantee you a job.
Right.
The new guy's right around the corner.
Right.
He's right behind you, and he's,
Right.
and he's young and he's hungry, and, and he fits the bill, and you don't sound 25 anymore, Daddy.
Mm-hmm. Or he's old and he's hungry. He's like
And he's
me.
old and he's hungry, or he can, or he's exactly like you, but he'll take
Right.
$200 less.
Right.
It's like,
Right.
hey,
That's exactly right.
Welcome to the capitalist system.
Yep. Exactly. Before we head out, I always want to give you an opportunity to pass along advice to our very new people. There's several people listening that are just getting
Advice.
started.
And
Yeah,
now-
any kind of advice. Yeah, and whether it be treat your space or do this or do that, wherever you want to go with it, it's all yours.
Oh my God. And now for the 10-hour 5-part series. Oh my, there's just so much.
I will not tell you where to find work.
Oh my God. Well, I've already mentioned places you can start. I mean, that's the easy part. The hard part is to not fall into the same errors that everyone, like I'm a DIY guy and a bit of an albatross. So I make my mistakes along the way and then fix them. If you have a real inkling, I'm going to get really close to the microphone. If you have a real inkling for this, and it's not just, oh, I think maybe if I could try it. If you're just still in the try mode, cheapest mic you can get, hobo for it, go on Casting Call Up, get a feel for it. Don't spend big bucks. If you know in your fiber, internally that you can do this, then you can go ahead and spend money on the better equipment, get that space done. As you say, get that coaching if you feel like you need that coaching for some things. And coaching is great. For me, I'll probably seek out coaching just to get particular genres of the VO down, just to maybe, like promo down, I love promo. I want to do promo, Mr. Hagel, if you're listening, I like promo.
Yes. And if I'm going to a workshop, that's where I want to go. He's great.
Yeah. So, my advice is don't let the time wear you down, because time will pass and you'll get frustrated. And I've been there, and I'm still kind of there because I'm not TRS yet. I'm not top rated seller yet, but I'm on my way, and I know it. I'm on my way, to quote, just to go off left field, a warrior waits because he knows what he's waiting for. And in that case, you're waiting for your time in that light. Right now, you're in the shadows. Things are going slow. Things are seasonal. October, November, December, it starts escalating again. You'll find more traction. Okay. So Don't let the time wear you down. Expect time to pass. Just because it doesn't happen for you 15 minutes from now doesn't mean it won't. That's really the biggest takeaway there. If I could tell myself, hey, it's not a big conspiracy, they're not out to get you, Fiverr isn't, playing God with people. The market is the market. There is a reason why the high-paying people on Fiverr are picking nothing but top-rated sellers. Why would they go lower? They're already paying the money, so they're going to click that little button, and you're going to disappear for a while out of them.
Makes sense. Yeah.
I mean, that's the real thing. The market is the market. Just to put a cork in this, voiceover is fashion. Fashion is fickle. Today, your Air Jordans, tomorrow, your penny loafers. Okay?
Good point.
And then the next day, penny loafers are back.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just the way it is. I know that I'm not in the most valued genre right now. I'm not the cool young millennial guy that, hey, I can just sell you my igloo to an Eskimo. I'm a deeper voice guy, announcer guy, but there's work for me out there. I'm already past the halfway mark as far as getting to top-rated seller. And really Fiverr was the demarcation between hobby and business for me.
Mm-hmm.
Before it was just hobby. Now it's truly business.
Right.
So little by little, I'm going to get into more and more and more. It's just a matter of time.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. No doubt. I just, by the quality of what you put out, and that speaks volumes, it will take you where you want to go. And I would also say to people, don't be discouraged by those that are quote unquote overnight successes. Don't let that discourage you. It happens. There's a few of them out there. It really wasn't, because especially one of them that I know quite well, female, she had a ton of this type experience before she ever got on Fiverr, and was able to bring that with her, and it just blossomed. So there was
that she was in the most sought after genre in VO today.
Exactly.
It didn't hurt.
It doesn't. And then to do it well.
And to do it well.
There you go.
And then, and then to gain confidence, because you need to have a thick skin. You need to be able to take no, rejection. You have to be able to say, look, I know myself. I know my skills. I know my project, my path forward. So, if you're going to discourage me, do it on your own time.
That's right. That's right. Believe in yourself. And keep getting better. You have
to have the tenacity of a bulldog.
Exactly.
To live life. Forget about VO. To live life, you need the tenacity of a bulldog to keep on chewing that bone.
That's exactly right. And I am really looking forward to the first of the year when I can focus on that during the time of day I need to focus on it. That's going to be a huge help.
Getting back to your statement about people who go up fast, they didn't really go up fast. They went up faster than you are or I am, but they still went through their thing. I mean, I not to drop names, I have observed people as they go along, because being that I have nothing but time, I can sit there and say, oh, this guy, look at this. Oh, he made 3 more stars today. Oh, look at he's coming up. Oh, he just made level 2. It took him how many months now? 8 months. Okay, that's not bad. And so on and so on. And then, certain people we know, I mean, not to drop names, will tell you that, it was hard up until a certain point. And then it really, really blew up. And that's what all of us are working for.
Right.
That critical mass.
Looking for that magic moment.
Yeah.
And it'll get there. Hey, Rudy, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. This has been insightful, and I'm sure we will have you back again, because a lot of the folks we talk to are where you are, where I am. We're pushing toward TRS, and as we get there, we want to come back again and say, hey, it's changed. Now tell me what's going on. So we'll definitely be back.
Well, I'm on my yacht having my champagne. Where are you? In your hovel.
And I'll tell everyone, if you enjoyed the opening, well, you're really going to enjoy the demo, and that's coming up here at the end of the podcast. And again, thank you so much.
It was my pleasure.
Luck's a crazy word, but best of everything to you and what you're trying to do, whether it be voiceover and personally and everything else. It's a pleasure to know you and get to talk to you.
This isn't goodbye. I'll see you on Facebook in 3 minutes.
We'll see you soon.
I mean, really.
Okay, that's enough talking. Can we hear some samples now?
The BMW 3 Series drives the legacy of the sports sedan in the only way it can go, forward. The power to push forward. Mike Tyson fought many fearsome opponents, but the strongest he ever faced was himself. He emerged from this battle with a newfound perspective and love for life. The joy of coffee, now with beans ordered at a press of a button from a roaster not so far away, all to ensure that a kitchen without coffee beans is a thing of yesterday. Keep your day on track with Coffee Press. Pro Plan Live Clear, a breakthrough 10 years in the making that reduces allergens in cat hair and dander. Outstanding nutrition with the power to change lives. This way back then, we always knew we had a lot of life ahead of us. That's why we chose a car we knew would be there for us through it all. Welcome to the all-new Jägermeister's 56 Herbs and Spices. Bring out the best in your beer. Kick up your beer with a deer.
You've been listening to The VO Life with Troy Holden. Check back for more episodes each week and catch up on what you've missed also. This is for you, those just living that VO life. Thanks for listening and join us again.
The VO Life intro is by Louise Porter. The outro by Liz Moya. You can pick us up on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple, and many other podcast carriers. Need to send me an email? Do it today. Troy@TroyHoldenVoices.com. Thanks for listening.